321 brake horsepower is a large chunk of power. It's enough to see the fun side of 150, it's enough to pin you to the back of your seat after jabbing the go pedal. It's the kind of power you don't forget in a hurry. Which is why the Vauxhall Insignia VXR Supersport is something of a surprise. Yes, this is a Vauxhall with more power than a Porsche. It's packing a 2.8 litre twin-turbo V6 engine that'll hit 62 miles an hour in 5.9 seconds. Its top speed is a shade over 165 miles an hour, and it's got four-wheel drive. In all, it's quite an interesting proposition, especially when you hear how much it costs. To get the Tourer, you'll have to drop just over £31,000, which incidentally is actually cheaper than the base level Audi A6 Avant. But more importantly, it's around half the price of an entry-level Porsche Panamera, which has less power, is slower to 62 and has a lower top speed. So it's cheap, fast and big. Those are words that sit happily together. However, it won't really work if it's rubbish to steer. This is probably the first Vauxhall I've driven that doesn't have a massively over-encumbered cabin. There aren't buttons everywhere, there are pleasingly few, and that's because some of their job has been given over to this mouse pad thing in the centre console. And what that does is you can guide yourself around the sat-nav menu. I won't lie, it's a little bit counterintuitive and it's a bit slow, but this is also a big touchscreen, so that's, you know, good. Everything is, as you'd expect, really simple to use, and the steering wheel is very, very lovely to hold. It's perforated leather, and it does add that little extra sporting edge, a little bit like having VXR badges pretty much everywhere in the car. And speaking of VXR touches, there are two buttons on the top of the centre console. One marked Sport, which makes things a little bit sporty, and one marked VXR. Press the VXR button, and then stuff gets a little bit mad, like so. The V6, which is normally quite placid, wakes up a little bit, the whole car goes on high alert, and all of a sudden you can exploit everything about it. And you have that wonderful grip you get with a four-wheel drive that this comes with. It's just, as a package, it's pleasingly fast, it's pleasingly mental. The brakes are made by Brembo and they're pretty hefty, so when you do need to stop in a hurry, ooh, you definitely can. You just nail it and bosh, you're stopped, which is wonderful. Now twin, the awesome speed with a decent transmission and you're laughing, and thankfully the 6-speed manual in here certainly has a good transmission. It's nice and smooth, it's not too long throw, it's not too short throw either, but it still feels neatly sporty enough to make it special, but not too sporty to make an everyday drive a little bit of a nightmare. The engine itself revs kind of freely, but the noise it makes isn't all that good. It doesn't make itself known, though when it's quiet you can hear the turbos going and you can hear the V6 sing its song, but it's quite muted. It's a shy V6, and that's a shame. Vauxhall claims it's more of a GT than a super sporty saloon, so let's go through the requirements. According to Wikipedia, the font of all knowledge on the internet, a GT is a luxury or high-performance automobile capable of high-speed or spirited long-distance driving. And on top of all of that, it needs to be big and comfy enough for two people and their stuff. Its suspension can't be too harsh so it doesn't knacker your spine at the end of a long journey. You need to be able to boot it for hour after hour after hour, and it needs to look just a little bit racy, and technically the VXR is all of that. It's clear there's loads of space, and the numbers show that it's capable of some pretty impressive speeds. It's certainly very comfortable too. The looks thing, well, that's entirely subjective, but I don't think it looks bad at all. At the back there's two massive exhausts, and down either side is Vauxhall's signature swoop fin thing, but at the front it's got fangs, and you definitely don't argue with a car with fangs, because otherwise you'll get eaten. There's more to this car though than numbers and experiences. It's an image issue. As good as this is, as fast as it is, and as cheap as it is, I really can't see all that many people going for the Insignia VXR. You see, in a world where what you drive is a reflection on who you are, is big, fast and cheap really enough to cut it anymore? Or will people go for the best Audi or BMW they can afford? See, those who do plump for the German, they wouldn't have made a bad choice whatsoever, but they would have written this off simply because they didn't bother to give it a chance. And that's a shame, because they're really missing out.